Stand by for my guest all the way from Florida, Tom Shedd.
Show is called History, Humor, and the Human Condition. You get old enough writing music, you finally decide you're not trying to impress or get famous. You're trying to say something, because we all ultimately need to help improve this world. So every song I write is about something.
But it's got to be a song that, not to some people write the same things as you, but they write it so they understand it and you don't. Which defeats the object at times.
Yeah,
you understand what I mean?
Yeah, the people try to do the obtuse meaning, I guess, to think it. You know, it's cool, but to me, that's the gateway to cliche. So
I agree with you. You know what I mean? I mean, if somebody's listening to your song and understand what they're about, the enjoyment's doubled anyway. Okay, Tom, what we got next for your last number?
Talking to somebody outside, and he said that there's a focus on World War I here in Liverpool.
100 years.
Well, a girl named Janet Goodman is an excellent songwriter and poet, gave me this poem she wrote about her grandfather, the true story of her grandfather, and how he had dealt with his stress. What did you do in the war, Daddy? I try to stress to people, when you know somebody that stood on that thin red line and they're going to go, what did you do? It's none of your business, because that someone has been through something you have no possibility of comprehending. And when you're asking them, you're not asking them to remember, you're asking them to relive. Her grandfather is one of the most brilliant human beings on the planet, and one of the bravest. And this is how he dealt with it. It's called Davy's Cornet. Davy blew cornet in a juke joint by the tracks. Till in 17 we joined the war. He volunteered to fight in France. Now in his shoes at 5'2", they wouldn't let him in the infantry. So he played taps for the boys each night, and at dawn wake 'em up with reveille. No glory words or stories heard about a war to end all war. The only soldier without a gun, always the shortest one. He's a man with a brass cornet. Now Davy came back from France, put away his cornet, making babies instead of music, never spoke of regrets. Works a union life, loves his kids and wife, didn't talk much about the war. Just a bugler, that's all he'd say. Watch your kids in the yard as they play. Content with his life, his family, and his favorite cigar. No glory words or stories heard about a war to end all war. The only soldier without a gun, always the shortest one. He's a man with a brass cornet. After he died, we gather inside to sort through his life and his dreams. The truth we all knew wasn't all that was true. What we found there changed everything. Now down in the cellar, in a box, in the dark, there's papers from the army, photographs, a Purple Heart. He spent his time on the front lines with a red cross on his sleeve. Carry the wounded through the blood and the gore. Now we know how he gave so much more. This man with a brass cornet. No glory words, no stories heard about a war to end all war. The only soldier without a gun, always the shortest one. He's a man with a brass cornet.
Well, that's great, that, Tom.
Thank you so much.
Lovely. Did you write that yourself?
Yeah, Janet Goodman and I. There was a poem by Janet Goodman, and she gave it to me, and she let me go through it pretty hard. And yes,
great song. And obviously, when you perform that, you do tell the meaning behind it. Obviously,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm an elongated show because I'm gonna tell everybody about every song.
I love that because I knew something was coming, but I wasn't quite sure what. But the ending was great.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Because people forget about, there were people who didn't have weapons who fought in those wars.
Yeah, at 5'2", the standard U.S. Army issue was a Springfield 30 caliber rifle, 3 foot 8 inches tall. He could never shoulder arms. He went to the front line, and even if a gun was laying there, he wasn't going to be able to accurately fire it because he was too short to shoulder it. So to measure the bravery of that man, it's almost impossible to think.
Okay, but is that on any of your albums, Tom?
It's on the next one. Those 2 songs. See, I figure why play something. You come on out and you can download from my website now because anywhere else I never see it. So, but I've got songs on my website at tomshed.com.
And will you have some CDs available tonight?
Yeah, what I'm doing the donation tour. So anybody that donates more than £10 to the tour receives a free CD.
Okay, that's tonight at the View 2 Gallery in Matthew Street, just over the road from the Cavern, up a long flight of stairs, but Tom's worth it.
That's it. Come on, you can do it. It's good for you.
You'll see him there tonight, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. He's there as part of the Dust Bowl night. Tom, thank you so much for coming in. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Some lovely stories there. And nice to meet your lovely love at first sight.
Amy.
Thank you, Amy. And we play this for you.